against the state, against the church, against the silence of the medical profession, against the whole machinery of dead institutions of the past, the woman of today arises. Margaret Sanger. On December 7th of 1936, Margaret Sanger's mission took its biggest step forward when the Federal District Court legalized the importation and distribution of birth control and information about contraception. World-renowned figure Margaret Sanger spent her life fighting for the rise of women in society. She was a socialist, a radical, and a feminist who sacrificed her own love, family, and personal well-being with the determination to grant women the right to control their pregnancies. Margaret went back to nursing school and specialized her practice in maternity cases, especially in the Lower East Side of New York. This is where she first encountered immigrant women who were desperate for knowledge about how to control and limit the size of their families. Immigrant women were especially desperate because they were uneducated and unable to ask people for help because of the language gap. They resorted to self-given abortions, in which usually resulted in their deaths. Margaret wrote, "The menace of another pregnancy hung like a sword over every woman I came in contact with." Birth control information and products were illegal and unavailable at the time. Condoms were available, but no one thought to use them for contraception, but more for preventing diseases. Only a revolution could change the conditions that so overwhelmed the women of the Lower East Side, wrote Margaret. So that's what she did. The misery Margaret witnessed every day is what brought her to the decision to spark a revolution for the issue. Margaret's determination and perseverance for her cause inspired women to be strong and want to help themselves. Margaret argued that not only was her cause a fight for the legalization of birth control, but also a fight for a higher standard of living for women, as well as more enjoyable sex, in which they didn't have to worry about being impregnated. With the institutionalization of contraception, women found themselves having an increased amount of sexual freedom. They were also considered in more societal matters. Women became more valued throughout the culture of the time. As a result of Margaret's fights for women's rights, women were given more economic opportunities. This was especially demonstrated during World War II, when women were given high-paying, normally male-dominated positions, as most men were enlisted and/or drafted in the war. This helped prove that women were just as capable as men. If it weren't for Margaret's extreme passion for a woman and her own rights, women would not be regarded with nearly as much respect and value as we are today. Margaret's determination inspired women to want to help and think for themselves. Without Margaret's efforts and fight for her cause, not only would we still be fighting for the right to make our choices for our own bodies, but us women would not have such a high level of respect for ourselves.